Americans call him Professor Fat Man Ding. He is now a celebrity on Chinese social media platforms with over 2 million followers. Because of him, all Chinese restaurants in the United States have stopped using undocumented immigrants. After these events, he started a new project, just like Forrest Gump in the movie Forrest Gump, walking across America on his own feet. Hello everyone, I'm Samora. Welcome to my channel. Professor Fat Man Ding, not to say he's actually a professor, but his real name is Li Sun. He is from China with only a high school education. Due to bicycle theft, he served 6 months in prison and, upon release, struggled to find work due to his criminal record. So he crossed into the USA through Mexico as an illegal immigrant, becoming an undocumented worker. Since they didn't have work permits, employing them was illegal, leading to an unspoken rule between Chinese restaurant owners and undocumented workers, where wages were below the legal minimum, paid in cash to evade taxes. Naturally, there were instances of overtime and meager pay. The professor couldn't stand all this, and after working in various restaurants and gathering evidence, he reported several Chinese restaurants for tax evasion and hiring undocumented workers. The professor became a celebrity in the Chinese community.
这些黑老板动不动这个不报税啊！你们不报税，我吃什么？你们不报税，收容所哪来的钱？收容所没有钱，那我饿死了怎么办？我饿死了，你负责吗？
Having lived in Monterey Park upon arriving in the U.S., which the Chinese call Fatty Ding Square, he began to be called Professor Fat Man Ding. This caused a stir in the Chinese community, with some praising him for exposing the illegal employment and exploitation of workers, while others found it harder to find work as undocumented workers. But after these events, his life began each day the moment he unzipped his tent, mainly around downtown Los Angeles. Let's not forget his 2 million Chinese followers to whom he would teach strategies for begging. Government shelters were like free cafeterias that served meals on time as long as you showed up. The downside was sometimes the taste wasn't great, but if he came across charity stalls organized by philanthropists, he'd get to enjoy great food like fried chicken legs, beef pies, vegetable salads, and cakes, which made him very happy. Sometimes he was very grateful for fruit stands, which he considered a healthy lifestyle. Some netizens joke that he ate like a king, and on lucky days he might find volunteers distributing toiletries, bedding, and clothes, even offering free blood pressure checks, haircuts, and health checkups. Bikers would hand him a steak, and warm-hearted Mexicans might give him freshly baked beef pies with chicken legs cooking on the grill. The professor would excitedly shout how delicious it was.
I love you. God bless you, everybody.
However, there were also unlucky days when he couldn't get any food at all. As a rare Chinese homeless person in Los Angeles, when interacting with Americans, he wouldn't reveal his real identity, fearing he'd bring shame to China, often blurting out, "I'm Japanese."
兄弟们，他也想录我，没事，让他录。I come from Japan. Yeah.
The professor would also pass on food he didn't want to other homeless people who were older, in poor mental health, or hadn't managed to get food.
God bless you.
Some netizens teased about the loving and righteous professor, suggesting his next step should be running for governor of California. Others said that with just a regular smartphone, the professor presented a different America to the Chinese public, one without filters. He shared his life with local homeless people, often with police sirens in the background. American media, thinking he was a real professor, reported him as Professor Fat Man Ding. It said that he now earns about $30,000 per month on Chinese social media platforms. Some admire him as Robin Hood from the tent, a walking middle finger to the American market's abuse of immigrant labor, and a rejection of cutthroat competition in China. By choosing to live on the streets at the other end of the world, he refused to waste his life in fierce competition back home. Some view him as a clown or an electronic pet on Twitter. Now, with followers by his side, the professor has embarked on a new plan, which he calls the most important decision of his life. He plans to travel across the entire United States with 2 of his followers over the coming years on foot, pushing a camper van. They've encountered kind strangers,
This for me. I were in the war when I go to Iraq.
gotten lost on highways, and ran into police, not always smoothly.
You have to get off the freeway at the next exit. I'll follow you.
They faced robberies,
Go away! Go away! Fuck away!
Okay, you on the ground. Everybody, just get on the ground. Everybody. doing?
Huh?
Put the phone down.
All right.
Put the phone down. Lay down, please. Get down.
I don't speak English. I'm Chinese.
Who are you calling?
911, 911.
But the story continues, with the professor proudly pulling his cyberpunk camper van along the highways of America. In 2023, federal reports stated that 650,000 people were homeless across the U.S. Why are so many living on the streets? In the professor's videos, you can see homeless people of various mental states, some talking to themselves, others shouting loudly, and some even stealing his food. In many parking lots, ordinary people live in their cars, which become their dining tables, wardrobes, and bedrooms. America isn't a magic solution. It doesn't have all the answers to problems. The professor's story is just one side of the story. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.